For those of you who do not know me, my name is Andrew Robb, and I'm the Ontario Regional Referees Chair. And so welcome. I know we have some of the referee committee members on with us as well. So I'm not going to go through everybody, but I want to thank them for joining as well. And before we really get into the agenda, I wanted to say a big thank you to all of you for all of your work so far as we have gone, I guess, a couple months into the 2021-22 season. The agenda is going to be pretty quick. We're not going to spend too much time tonight, but we will have an opportunity for questions and answers at the end. So we're going to go through the fall review, the OVA tournaments, the match protocols, the new badges that have arrived, US travel, and of course, as I indicated, the questions. And so if you do have any questions, I will, at the end of the slide, we'll stop and see if there are any questions. Kelvin will also be monitoring the chat as well. As always, to thank Kelvin, I refer to him as my right-hand man, is part of the operations lead for the OVA. All right, so we did have a pretty busy fall, even though it has been condensed. We had the OUA that had begun, and that took place, I guess, the end of November. And we have the OCAA matches that will be beginning the first week of January, but we've had a number of the exhibition matches. So there really have been a ton of matches that have been taking place, along with some high school in the province. And of course, we also had the OVA that had taken place. So we've gotten through the first 2 months. It has gone quite smoothly, if I do say so myself. The second half is going to be fast and furious. Again, it's the first weekend in January, so you're going to have college taking place, OUA taking place. Where, as you see on the screen, TDSB, high school, elementary, that's going to be ramping up. So it's really going to be a matter of all hands on deck there. I wanted to step back quickly and just talk about OVSA and QASA that took place of the boys. Although it was reduced, it was really well received in the 3 areas. So we had single A in Region 5, double A out in Region 2 in North Bay, and in Kingston, Region 6 for the AAA, and 3 days. And it was really nice to see that referees were back, and really for the teams and the coaches and everyone to experience that. So looking forward to the girls that will be taking place in March of 2022, and it's going to be the exact same 3 regions that will be hosting that. We had a couple of new contracts that took place as well that are on board with the OVA, and that is the York Region Athletics Association, as well as the Ottawa Competitive Volleyball League. And so really want to thank Jennifer Adams. She was instrumental there for the YRAA there in York Region, and Irina Zamboni with the Ottawa. So good to see that we've had some additional bodies that have come on board with the OVA. Finally, we also had a bunch of the OVA 17U and 18U tournaments that were up and running, both on Saturday and Sunday. And so that was a lot of fun to see everybody in action. I know there will probably be a lot of questions on the other leagues, some of the single matches, and we'll get into that. But again, I think it's really important that we're seeing everybody back out on the court, and fingers crossed that we're going to be able to see this through. Let me just stop there first, and any questions on some of the items that I have discussed.
I don't see anything in the chat, so I think we're good, Andrew.
Actually, I do see one hand, it looks like. Greg?
Greg.
Hi. I just received an email today from WIXA for the high school saying games are starting to be canceled because of the Omicron variant. Is that something that's being looked at by the OVA, and is there a chance of the plans for the tournaments in Niagara and Ottawa being postponed or canceled because of this?
Very, very good question there, Greg. And yeah, there's certainly, I know that is a concern. I'm not close to it, so I am actually going to defer this to Kelvin or Carrie Campbell, who's on the line. Maybe they can speak to that.
We are aware of the possibility of the public health units or the government making limitations. However, we are counting on it going full force. And going forward, if we do have to cut any type of spectators or participants, then we will do so. But as it stands right now, we will be able to run these events with even the additional measures that were put in place with 50% capacity. I believe it was just in Ottawa that happened just this past couple days ago. But yeah, we're aware of it. We're monitoring it. We'll let everybody know as soon as we have any updates. But our first step would be obviously to try to reach, if anything were to come down for the government limiting spectators or any type of additional RTPs, our first step would be to implement anything that they recommend. And then if we have to take another step forward, more drastic, then we would. But as it stands, we're still going forward with it.
Wonderful. Thanks, Carrie. And I guess I should have mentioned, yeah, we've got Carrie here, who is the manager of the indoor league. So thanks very much for that, Carrie. All right. Anything else? Any other questions on that? Kelvin, want to go to the next slide, please? Okay, so as I had discussed in the first kickoff, where in previous years we had 3 pay runs. Well, we are moving towards 7. Now it won't be 7 this year because it was limited and we started later. But you will see that matches up until November 28th will be on the first pay run, and that will be within the next week, I will imagine, Kelvin. So it'll definitely be before Christmas. So you'll start to see that deposited into your account. If you haven't set that up, the information is on the screen to get your void check and get that sent in to the OVA so they can get your account prepared, because we will not be sending out checks, or it's done on a limited basis. Will be direct deposit, and you have the information where to send it there. Account at ontariovolleyball.org, and we also, everyone needs to make sure that your police check and your screening is up to date. If not, Kelvin and or Oakland will be following up with you just to ensure that we have everything in order.
Sorry, Andrew, can we mention Safe Sport as well? Because there's a lot of folks who don't have that complete yet, and that's a mandatory thing for us to be doing this year.
Yes, so we will get that sent out as well. Thanks, Arena. So that's another course that is is mandatory for all of the referees, coaches, everyone really that's involved. So anything that's outstanding, you will be sure to receive some information from the OVA that it's up to date. All right. Next one.
Sorry.
Okay.
So
Yep.
checks will no longer be mailed out, correct?
Checks will not be mailed out. That's right.
Thank you.
So at this point, this time I'm going to actually turn it over to Carrie to talk about some OVA tournaments that are upcoming and what that's going to look like. So Carrie?
All right. So I guess we will let you know where we are with indoor competition. So I'm sure much of you know that high school gyms usually account for 90% of our permits for youth competition. School boards are slowly opening up their permits, but not nearly fast enough to see us be able to actually run an OVA season through our school boards, like a traditional season like you would see. The permits that we are being issued are restricted. So they're either allowed no competitions, they're limiting the number of teams, they're not renting equipment, reducing capacity. So that meant for this coming January, we would have been over 50 venues short to run our normal tournament a month like we've seen in the past. So that meant we had to kind of figure something else out. As again, league play model. So as we all know, it's had its ups and its downs. I know that it's been a big strain on the referees and trying to get everybody out to matches and scheduled. So we appreciate everybody's patience and diligence and, really hard work in getting those matches covered. It was an administrative burden for you, and it's actually turning into a bit of a burden for us as well, with just results and managing team relations and kind of being a middleman between, getting matches going and things like that. So there's been a bit of hiccups throughout the league model. We kind of want to, there's a real push to try to get back to the tournament model that everybody's used to and kind of runs very smoothly. So that's kind of where we are. This is our solution. So we updated the calendar for January. So we will be running 2 large events in Ottawa for over 2 weekends in January. So that would be January 7th, 8th, 9th, and then again in January, the next following weekend. So it would be the 14th, 15th, and 16th. So the age divisions in those tournaments will be the TNS boys and 15U girls, and the TNS girls and 15U boys. So the EY Center will hold about 14 courts for us, 12 or 14 courts. I'm getting them mixed up between another venue that we have at the end of the month of January. So, but these 2 tournaments here in January, will host those 4 age divisions, and teams will play in 1-day tournaments on one of the following waves. So you'll either play on the Friday, Saturday, or Sunday in one of the following waves. So 2 to 10, 7 to 3, or 8 to 3. So, and then again, so there'll be 2 waves on the Saturdays, 1 wave on the Friday and Saturday. That's to allow for travel for over the weekend. And that will be the Friday, Saturday, Sunday on both those first 2 weekends in January. So be lots of volleyball over a very short period of time, but they will all be running a 9-on-3 schedule for each one of those age divisions. And even though we have, I think, 12 courts under one roof, they're going to be hosting different tournaments. So we could have, 4 9-on-3s happening or 3 12-on-9s. So it'll be kind of like a rapid fire assembly line of tournaments just kind of running through the EY Center in Ottawa. And then we have another one coming at the end of the month at the Scotiabank Center. It'll follow the same model where we have the 16U boys and 16U girls, running through one-day tournaments, January 28th to the 30th. They're going to follow the same time waves and the same structure. So it'll still be the 9-on-3s or 12-on-3s, or sorry, 12-on-4s throughout the whole weekend. So with that being said, so we're able to service these 2, 4, 6 age divisions within this convention center style situation. So that frees up the venues that we have booked through the OVA to run our our 4-on-4, our 6-on-6, and 4-on-6, 4-on-4, and 6-on-6 competitions within the venues that we've booked. So I don't know if Kellen wants to go back, or Andrew, whoever's in charge of the PowerPoint, and go back to the one chart exactly. So this will kind of outline what we're able to do for the season for all our age divisions. Well, not for season, for January. So as you can see, our 4-on-4 and 6-on-6 boys and girls will be doing the one-day tournaments through OVA booked facilities. So that's going to be anything that we've been able to get our hands on. And then our TNS and 15U will be doing our convention center style at Ottawa. And then our 16Us will be doing a convention center style at Scotiabank. So that's kind of the plan for January. And again, our 17 and 18Us will be running as they have already, using our facilities as well. So the big key point was just that us booking the convention centers and running these tournaments will free up the facilities that we already have for our younger age divisions. They are the ones that really struggled with this league model, being very new to the sport. So that's kind of the new update for January. You will notice that there is majority of the age divisions don't have a change in their calendar. We try to stick to that as best as possible, but we do have some changes with the 4-on-4 girls. Their original date was January 22nd. They're moving to the 29th, 30th weekend. That's again, so we can utilize our pre-book facilities. And then our TNS girls, we just added an extra day on for them just so we can maximize the space at EY. And then same with the 15U girls, and the other bigger change was for the 16U boys with, they were the January 22nd, and we moved them to the 29th and 30th just because they worked well with the Scotiabank numbers and squeezing them in. So few changes there, but very slight, only 2 really big ones. So that's the plan for January. Yeah, so this is kind of just touching on what I just mentioned, that so moving our TNS and 15U and 16U divisions to the convention center model has allowed us to use the pre-booked OVA facilities to ensure that the remaining age divisions can participate in one-day tournaments. So hopefully, if you are registered as an OVA member, as an athlete, you'll play in a one-day tournament in January. Fingers crossed. So, and that's for all our age divisions. More February planning is currently underway. We are still trying to drill for more information at school boards for their timeframes and what they will be willing to permit out. So we're really uncertain, to be honest, if that's going to happen for February 2022. So we are going to look for other dates at convention centers across the province to see if we can continue doing this, if it's possible or not. We do want to provide you guys an update as soon as possible. Early January probably will be it seems a little late, but I think that's what we are aiming for, considering we need to kind of get information from school boards and also need to work with the convention center to see if any dates are available. So fingers crossed that happens. Again, you'll see there are shortage there, approximately 48 venues for February and 58 for March. If you have any idea of any facilities that might be suitable for OVA competitions, this also includes 2-court. We're willing to kind of be a little flexible and run some 6-on-3s at 2 courts. So let Mark Weersma know. He's been kind of managing our bookings and monitoring that school board situation. So send him an email if you know of anybody who's renting, and we would be very appreciative of that. So,
Carrie, it's
Yeah.
sorry, it's Mark Williamson. What feasibility is there for what comes to mind is like the indoor soccer fields,
right.
where we would obviously need a plywood base to get on top
Mhm.
of the soccer field to place the
Mhm.
sport court. But there are, I mean, in Ottawa alone, I know there's what, 4 of those indoor types of facilities that could certainly house probably 6
Mhm.
or courts. And I know Toronto has a bunch of them too, but obviously
Right.
putting the plywood base down for the sport court as an alternate idea, I guess.
Yeah, so we have looked into that. It's really tricky to get into those facilities. Number one, we do need that underlay, because if we don't, then the sport court actually becomes quite dangerous, because it will lift up because of the extra cushion that's on that's provided within the turf. So that's really limiting if that is not available. And just they're all booked up with soccer. So we're kind of really limited in that area. I know that we've been working with Woodbridge Sports Dome that kind of has some facilities going on there, but we're looking in every possible way. We've even had somebody talk to us about looking into a movie studio here in Toronto, because they're big empty buildings. So kind of seeing what pricing like that would be. But you know, we are a little limited with our budget, which has kind of taken Enercare out of our scope when we are doing a look for facilities. So, but yeah, we'll definitely keep looking at that, Mark. Thank you.
Another idea that just kind of popped in is like even like airline or airports with hangars. And you talk about big empty spaces, and
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think out of the box in the moment. So
yeah, no, for
but
sure, great suggestion.
just another thought. That's all.
Yeah, thank you.
Great, thanks, Carrie, and thanks, Mark. And yeah, you know what? Keep these questions, these ideas, and you know, there's nothing that you know, I don't think the OVA wouldn't look into. You know, again, it's challenging. Clearly, it's been a challenging almost 2 years, and we're just happy that we have some volleyball that's taking place. I want to stress again how thankful I am, not only to the assigners, because they were getting last minute requests and what have you, but to all of the referees here that are on the line who were accommodating and going to one match, or the 2 matches, or traveling. And so it hasn't gone unnoticed, and we're doing everything to try and make it work. So a huge thank you to all that's involved. So
A
with
huge
that,
thank you from us
sorry.
too, by the way, from the indoor team. Like, I know you guys have been put through the ringer with these leagues and that, and it's we appreciate everybody's hard work and flexibility, and it hasn't gone unnoticed. So thank you.
Thanks, Carrie. And so, we have the Ontario Championships. We've got a bunch of teams that are committed, and with that, it's been a few years, since we've attended provincials, and we have the 2 different sites. Emails have gone out through the OVA, so hopefully you've been able to take a look at your calendar and fit some of those dates in. Even if you can't do a wave of 6, if you're able to do 3, that's great. I can pretty much assure you that there'll be lots of work, and something tells me that there won't be the 3 on 3 off that I know we've heard is not necessarily the greatest, but it is a long day when you're talking about 12 rounds, and so we're going to do everything to ensure this runs smoothly, and we get the referees We are short right now, but we're confident that by the time April rolls around, those that may not have signed up in the first half, once they have heard that, it's gone quite well, and, all the different protocols and safety measures that have been put in place is working out, and that they will come along and in the second half. We're also doing a lot of pushing for recruiting. Don't think we came into this blind. We knew the numbers were going to be down, and this is pretty much in line with what we expected. It's no different than the other sports, whether you're talking, soccer, basketball, you name it. I've spoken to some of my colleagues from the other sports, and they've experienced the same thing. So, but with that, this is an opportunity to really plug into our new candidates and targeting some of our volleyball players, right? So those that are at that 15, 16U, we know that the age has been decreased from 16 to 15 in order to become a referee, and this allows them to still stay in the game. So if you know of anyone that's interested, please pass it along, as we are looking to run some more clinics. Here are the dates, again, in case you're unaware, but they're also on the OVA website, and so everything starts up in April. You will see that there is a little bit of an overlay depending on what wave you are in between Mississauga and in Waterloo. But I'm looking forward to a great event that will take place. We don't have a slide for this as well, but I just came off of my ROC's meeting last Sunday, and fingers crossed that nationals will be plugging away, and we will be looking at sending 25 or 30 referees. First choice is going to be to those that actually had signed up back in 2020. So I want to put that out there. But you will see some communication for that event, which is 6 days, and that's taking place in May. All right, so just going over some of the COVID protocols again, and so we know that masks are required for everyone except for athletes that are on the playing court. So the players that are off on the bench are to be wearing a mask at all times, except for the libero. Libero, they're coming in and out. So when they're coming out, they don't need to put it on and then put it, take it off. So essentially, it's going to be those 6 players and the libero, if the libero is involved in the match. And then everyone else will be wearing a mask. No side switches. So that's the same protocol that's been taking place in the OCAA and the OUA, and the same will be in the OVA. I believe I had mentioned in the first town hall that if there is a huge disadvantage and there's something that's irregular with the court for whatever reason, that is something that between the head referee and the convener will work out to see if we're able to do a side change. But outside of that, everyone stays on the court that they start that first set, and essentially, especially for the OVA, whatever team shows up on, they take that side. Well, then the other team will take the other side. So that's there's no higher seed gets to choose. It's just whoever shows up. No shaking of the hands. Again, everyone is fist pumping, doing the dap or what have you. We're trying to distance as much as possible. Bring your own pen where possible again, right? So for the signing, again, we're just trying to limit and make things as safe as possible. There should be hand sanitizer at all sites. Again, regardless of where that's taking place, college, university, or OVA. Wash your hands regularly, and we are following the protocols of that the particular site there. You may notice, right, there's certain times certain schools may not have as stringent regulations when it comes to signing in or what have you. But the OVA's standpoint is at least, right, the mask and everything are required. And then you can take a look at the OVA return to play for any list of the different rule modifications. The only other thing that I will add, and this is going to be a slight change to what I had communicated earlier, and this is in particular to OCA, OCAA, and OVA. We still, the referee, the first referee is supposed to be on side A, and the second referee is on side B. I did watch a number of matches, and the protocols were a little bit off, but again, first referee side A. At the end of the match, second referee on side B. Lines, instead of having them behind, have them just on the side. It doesn't, from my observation, it doesn't look good that the lines are behind. I know I had originally communicated that, but they're part of the team, and so have them just on the side. And just, again, the same 6 feet, 2 meters apart, just beside the ref at the end of the match. And then finally, and I know this has been all over the place too, but with the wave at the end of the match, it's at the end line and not the 3 meter line. So just think about when you are standing for the national anthem, they're not at the 3 meter line, they're at the end line. Well, at the end of the match, the same protocol applies, they're at the end, not the 3 meter. Again, just to make it look good and that we are consistent throughout. Next for me, please.
Andrew, I just wanted to stress that the protocols are important to follow at all OVA sanctioned events. So that's OUA, OCAA, OVA tournaments, OFSA. We need to do everything we can to protect our athletes and the sport to ensure that things open up and that we can continue to do what we're doing right now. There was also a question from Dimitri. He's asking, can we not use flags to minimize contact and sharing of equipment?
Yes, although it's been my observation that pretty much everyone has their own flags, and that's what they've been using. But that's probably more, at the college and university, and you might be talking more along the lines of the OVA, and then having like the parents or the players that are doing lines. And if that's the case, then yeah, I wouldn't share the flags. They can just go old school with their hand. I'm completely okay with that. And Dimitri, jump in, correct me if I'm wrong, if that's what you were asking regarding OVA events or just the sharing of flags at college, university.
Yeah, there was some conflicting. Some parents were a little aghast that we weren't using flags, and I just said to them, I want to minimize contact. And then I've seen some courts using flags, some courts not using flags. So just wanted to see what the OVA feels is best, and what you guys feel is best as far as what we should do.
Yeah, I mean, I had communicated that we should be using our the flags are for us and not to share. And so I would not, I personally wouldn't encourage it, but I'm not going to stop someone if they wanted to. But I think it would be best not to, would be my suggestion.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew.
There's also a few questions asking about the end of match protocol, where the team the athletes stand? Because in some places they do it on the attack line, and in some places they do it on the baseline. So just confirming if that's just the OCAA or if it's everything, OVA, OUA.
Good question. And so that's OUA and OCAA for that particular protocol. For OVA, OFSA, it would be the starting players at the 3-meter line and then the rest of the players at the baseline. So outside of OUA, OCAA, 3-meter line for the starting players and then the rest of the team at the end line. But still for the refereeing corps would be A and B.
Awesome. I think that's it. So we can, oh, yeah, Mike Chu has a question.
Sorry, when you say the starting players, are you referring to the 6 that started the last set, or which ones would be the starting players?
That's right. The players at the end of set 2, set 3, just at the end of the match, those starting players would be at the 3-meter line.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. As I mentioned at the beginning, so badges are in, and in fact, I know that Kelvin has started to mail them out. So keep an eye out for them within the next week or so. And there are a few in my area that I actually have for you, so I'll contact you and let you know, and I'll bring them by. I'm looking at you, Dimitri. You're one of them. So
Me? What did I do?
no, don't worry. So I have a badge for you.
Oh, this is one of the benefits of living close to you, eh?
There you go. That's right. U.S. travel. I know I'd heard from some about our stance regarding U.S. travel, and it's the same. I have been in contact with Patty Rolfe, who is the director of officials for USA, and then you've got Sue Melon, who is AAU. It's the same protocol that we have been accustomed to. So there's a form that you'll need to complete, and that will be sent to your RRC, and then in turn, they will send that off to Ryan Bunyan, and I'll get a copy of that. Again, need to be in good standing, obviously. I think it's also important to note that if you have been assigned here, that you are sticking to that, to your commitment there. We're certainly not stopping you or preventing you, but you're also on your own when it comes to the travel and any restrictions and returning. So it's really important that you ensure that everything is in order for your return, and what those protocols may look like in terms of having to quarantine or what have you on the way back. But yeah, the border is open. Patty actually hasn't sent me the link yet for registration, so I'll follow up with her. I know this is primarily for regions 3 and 5, but you have our blessing. That just like I'm sure we'll have some that will come for nationals, and so. There you have it. We are still trying to get the fillable form. I was speaking to Ryan about that. It's the same type of form that teams use when they travel to the US. That just makes it a whole lot easier to process, because I know it gets delayed and bogged down and what have you. But more to come with that. And I think think that's, what's the next slide there for me? Oh, yeah, yeah. So it is, that was the last slide. Any questions? Again, we wanted just to touch base, let you know how the first half is going, and that buckle down for the second half. It's gonna come, again, fast, and we just, fingers crossed that this new variant, we are seeing the numbers, we are looking at it, and we're cognizant of it, but we're just hopeful that we're able to do our part, and we're able to see our way through it, because we know that sports is so important to our athletes, and listen, we all want to get together and commiserate at provincials and nationals, and really look forward to seeing you all there. But if there aren't any questions, Howard, yes, there is consideration for that single game. That is something that I have discussed. So yeah, so more to come on that. We're obviously trying to limit that, but that is an option. I have not heard anything with the snowball. Lisa, I don't know if Kelvin or I'm not sure if Carrie is still with us, if they have any comments on that.
So we tried to do snow volleyball last season, and because of the lockdown, obviously that didn't work out. This season we did try to reach out to a couple snow hills. It's just logistically, it's not very ideal in terms of safety. And the ski hills, they're completely booked with their own events. So we haven't been able to find a safe facility that we can use. But we are trying to at least run some exhibition snow volleyball tournaments. So we'll try to keep everyone posted on that.
Perfect. And and sorry, Kevin. I'm just, as I'm just going back, there's a bunch of questions that I had missed, so I just wanted to capture that. So yes, to confirm, end of match protocol, teams, OUA, OCAA, all line up at the baseline. For OVA and all the other leagues, the starting players to end the match will be at the 3-meter line, and then the rest of the team at the baseline. During the national anthem, nothing has changed. They're all at the baseline for the national anthem. You've got the captain, libero, the rest of the team. Then R1 will turn and they'll wave, no shaking of the hands, go back to the bench, and away you go. At the end of the match, R1 on side A, R2 on side B, line 1 is on side A, line 2 is on side B. This it is, you're right, Martin, it has been all over the place, and I've seen 3 different versions. So this is where I'm going to again reinforce this. I'm actually going to post it on Arbiter as well for those who have missed it, so they will see exactly what those protocols will be. Con, I think I answered that. Yes, yeah, Barb. So Barb, yeah, they might be used to going to the end line, but if we can have them go to the attack line, and then the players on the end line, it's no different than at the there. It took us a while to have the players go in numerical order at the OUA and OCAA, and now they pretty much, right, once you keep reinforcing it and the referees talk about it, they will catch on. Yeah, John, we can get that sent. Oh, sorry, that was just to me, but it doesn't matter. John, I can get that sent out. I think someone else was trying to say something about a comment. Craig, is that your hand there? Or
yeah, sorry, I had 2 questions about the end of the match. I understand the attack for OVA tournaments, do the coaches join the players who ended the game at the attack line or on the baseline? And what is the hand signal to indicate that people should be at the baseline and the attack lines for the end of the game?
I'll start with your first question. No, coaches they stay where they are at their respective benches. It's only the players that will participate actually on the floor. And what I would suggest is at the start of the match, when you're talking to the captains, you let them know what that protocol is. I'm sure they'll forget, or they may not tell everyone, but at the end of the match, R1, use your whistle and just verbally just tell the players at the attack line and rest of the team at the baseline.
And sorry, that the hand signal for the end of the match.
You're just pointing. You point.
Just
you
point to the
point.
attack lines?
Yep, but point towards the attack line. That's right.
Okay, thanks.
The rationale, Mike, is to try and distance as much as possible, and that's why we don't have the referees all together and the lines. You're trying to space them out. So that's the rationale. That's what we're trying to do, trying to prevent as much as possible. Yeah, you have the entire team that's warming up without masks, but at the end, when the game starts, they put on a mask. I mean, again, that's the protocols. That's what we're following, and we're just trying to do our part. It's the same when a player may come to you. They're not going to come right up to the referee. Just try and distance a little bit there, and then give the different information. Yes.
Sorry, what I meant by the difference in rationale is why the OUA and OCAA is doing the attack, like everyone's on the attack line at the end of the match, and OVA is doing the 6 starting players on the attack line, and then the baseline. Like, why not just keep the same?
Yeah, well, you've got different rules for different leagues, right? So that's what we have put in place for college and university, and yeah, it's just it's the way it is.
Yep.
Anything else?
Yeah, there was a question. Could you clarify the new ceiling rule?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if the ball contacts the ceiling, then that is still in play, provided that it lands on your side. So if I'm on side A, ball goes off the ceiling, I can play it back. If it hits the ceiling and then goes over to side B, that's a fault. If it hits the back wall, that's out. So it's only the ceiling where it can make contact, and the ball will remain in play. That would also include the basket if it is hanging by the ceiling. I'm not even quite sure if fans are allowed. I honestly don't know this question. I think it depends on the site. If some sites aren't allowing any spectators and others may. Correct me if that's wrong there, Calvin. Sorry, and just one point. And stealing rule is only, that's right, only OVA, not OUA or OCAA. That's only OVA.
Yeah, spectators are allowed depending on the facility. It's up to the owner, basically, to figure out what the capacity limit is and whether or not they want to implement any restrictions on spectator capacity.
Andrew? Andrew, it's Lynn.
Yes, Helen.
Hi, okay. I think what the issue is, since we've been hosting a lot of 17 and 18U, there's a team that comes in from Quebec and they just come with their players. So sometimes they don't have parents to do the lines. So sometimes they'll put a player on the line to do the lines.
And that's that's perfectly okay.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
If they would line and or score, and if they are lining, I would suggest, well, they're going to be remaining on that same side anyway. You're going to give them a little extra time to do a substitution.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Good. Thanks, man. Score sheets are printed for teams to switch. What is the correct method to fill them out now? As some parents are orienting them to the way the
So
team.
if the teams aren't switching sides, then on the score sheet, they don't, like, it doesn't match up.
And so what I would do, so when you have on the score sheets that are A, B, and then B, A, it's A, B, A, B, A, B all the way through, therefore, so it won't confuse them. I know that came about at one OFSA. So just ensure, because when you're trying to cross, you're gonna mess yourself up. So just cross it out. We don't have the printed sheets that are gonna have A, B all the way through.
So when we're using the third set, don't use the box on the far left because that only goes up to 8 for the most part, and you could run out of points, right? So use the center one and the one on the right, and just cross off the one on the left for the third or fifth.
Exactly. I can't speak to the first tournament players who are doing lines. Again, I would imagine that's because they didn't have any spectators, but. That's correct, right? Good. Any other questions?
I think that's it.
Okay with this?
In the chat.
Well, again, thank you, everyone. Really appreciate you spending some time with us this evening. Continued good health. Wish you and your family all the very best over the holiday season, and look forward to seeing you all in 2022. Hard to believe that Christmas is a mere 12 days away. So, yeah, again, just fingers crossed and positive vibes. That's all I can say to you. And thanks for all you do. Again, I can't thank you enough. So appreciate it. Take care and good night.